ahead.
My name is Elias Toufexis. I'm the actor who plays Adam Jensen in Deus Ex series, Coben in the Splinter Cell series, Takar in Far Cry Primal. What else? I'm in Fortnite. Who did I play? Oh, I play the Major, and I play Ragnarok in Fortnite. What was the other ones? I feel like I'm missing. Oh, Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I played Leonidas and Nikolaos in the new Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Federico in Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. That's my video game resume.
That's pretty. We spoke about this just like literally right now. You have quite a bit under your belt.
Yeah.
Now you've worked with major companies, as far from Epic to Ubisoft to all the endless ones. How does it feel knowing that you've worked with for AAA games like this, and you've continuously worked in this industry like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. What you have to do in this industry as an actor is you have to cultivate relationships. So I have a really good relationship with a company like, say, Ubisoft, because I've done 4 or 5 games for them. I still have to audition. I still have to, be right for the characters and things like that. But I do get those auditions, and I am able to call the people who are working on the games and say, well, what would you like, and what can I do to get this role? And then if I do get the role, we have a great working relationship. So even things like once the game comes out, I know who to talk to, so I can find out what I'm allowed to say and what I'm allowed to talk about, and when I can come promoted, and so they can bring me to places like E3 and promote it and things like that.
I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because once you're finished with the game and your character, it's already done the pace, at least at face value.
Yeah.
Eventually, like it's common for all, if not most games, to come out with DLCs.
Yep.
Now, when you come out with DLCs, obviously they have to bring you back in, and then you do the whole thing all over again. Now, what's the process of that? Is it just the same as making the game at first, or is it a little bit more different?
It depends on the DLC. Like, for example, I can use the most recent one is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where I played Leonidas in the game, but everything I did in that game was full performance capture. So I didn't do any voice work for Leonidas. It was all on the stage with the dots on your face. I'm sure your audience knows what performance capture is. But then when they called me to do the DLCs, they just weren't going to spend the money to performance capture it. They wanted to animate it this time. So I only had to do voice work. So I didn't have to actually leave Los Angeles. I just went into a studio and they patched me into Toronto, or Quebec City rather. And I just recorded the dialogue and then they animated it. So it depends. For Deus Ex, I did some DLCs that were performance captured, so I had to go to Montreal and I had to do the whole thing, and they fly me up and put me up. And depends on what the DLC is. But for the most part, it's like a shorter, much more condensed version of what you've already done.
So it's kind of like summer school in a sense. Everything's just
that's a good way to put it. It's like you do it really quickly because they're not nearly, like a game like Assassin's Creed is hundreds of hours long. So I had 6 months of work, and then we did a DLC in 2 days. Or Deus Ex is a better example if you want to include performance capture. I did that for 2 years, Deus Ex, and then when we did the DLCs, each one was like a week of work. Yeah.
Now, something I wanted to ask, so when you do the mocap, and voice acting, do you just have a microphone like announce as you're doing the mocap, so you act it out and say it, or do you do the motion capture and then you go into the studio?
There are the older ways, and they still do this and I don't like it, is you motion capture it and then you go in the studio and try to match what your body did. The real way, the performance capture way, which is what we did with Assassin's Creed or Deus Ex, which is there's a little camera on your face, a helmet, it has a mic on it, you have dots all over your face, dots all over your body. Everything is captured at the same time. It's full performance capture. That's the best way to do it. Like Leonidas, if you go watch the beginning of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, all of that is on a stage, performance captured fully, no voice work involved.
So pretty much what you're doing is like theatrical acting in a sense too, because as you're moving, like you're swinging your arm.
Yeah, it's full on performance. I like to look at it as a stage performance because I don't have to really worry about camera placement or lighting and things like that, like I would have to do in a television role. But you can be subtle. Like on a stage, you tend to want to have to reach the back row, but there's a camera literally like 6 inches from your face, and your mic's like I am here, so you can be very subtle, and the computer will capture everything. That's the only real difference of being a stage actor.
Now, from working with like other companies like Fortnite or like different video games like Fortnite, Assassin's Creed, and Deus Ex. What's like some major differences you noticed between the different studios, like how they perform internally?
They're all kind of different, but they're all kind of the same.
Okay.
Like they all have, they all do the same thing. They have tiers to hit, and they have times to hit them. And some, I like some directors better than others. I like the openness of some studios better than the closed-off ways of others. I'm not going to say which is which, but I would prefer like an open studio where I can talk to the creative director anytime I want it if I'm one of the leads in the game. That I really like. Like I was able to do that with Deus Ex for sure. I could talk to whomever was on that team anytime I wanted if I had a story question or a character question or anything. That I love. Not all studios are like that. Sometimes I won't even meet anybody in the studio except for the team that I'm working with to capture my stuff. So it all depends. But in the end, we all want what's best for the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, kind of going back a little bit when you said you do, I believe you said Assassin's Creed, where you do the mocap and voice at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's like basically making a movie.
Yep.
And
pretty much.
So you have your script you need to follow, and you have to memorize your script just as any other actor would need to. Are there often times where they allow you to go off script or just ad-lib a little bit?
Maybe it's very rare because a lot of times it's literally timed. Like, look, this cutscene is this many minutes and seconds, so you can't go past that. The thing that you could do is you could improvise during the rehearsal process. And then if you find something that you think is better, you discuss it with the team and then you implement that into the scene. But I can't recall any time where we've been rolling and I come up with something new. I wouldn't do that, I don't think. Not like a film where I might on a TV show. But in the performance capture stage, I know it's very specifically timed out, so I don't want to mess with it.
I know games gonna kind of switch lanes really quick. Like Kojima Productions, like with their Metal Gear Solids, and the new Hideo Kojima, it's his studio. A lot of them are like they're basically movies you're playing.
Pretty much.
Like it's like 20 minutes of gameplay and like an hour of cutscene. I feel like that's cool. For someone such as yourself that's done voice acting and acting, would you prefer to do stuff like that where it's like you pretty much have 30 minutes to do this as opposed to like a 5 to 10 minute cutscene where you like pick them up, say what you gotta do, and you go right back to the game?
I don't know. I mean, from an actor's point of view, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Games that I've done, more often than not, have better scripts than the TV shows that I've done. And better character development and things like that. So I always approach it from the same place, whether I'm in a sound booth or in a performance capture stage, or if I'm on an actual stage, like doing a play, or if I'm in a TV show. I always approach it from the character, what does he want, what is he doing to get it, and how does he go about getting it. And that's it. So I don't care really. If I'm doing it in small cutscenes, I don't care. If I'm doing it in hour-long cutscenes, I mean, that wouldn't happen, but I don't care. It's all the same for me. It's just from a performance point of view.
Okay.
If you ask a director that, it might be different. But an actor's, and I just want to give the best performance I can in whatever way you want me to give it.
You've mentioned before, is like when you're reading the script or something, you're like, oh, maybe I could like kind of like improvise this line a little bit more and put in your creative input. For other major studios, how are they more likely to like listen to you, or are they more strict? You don't have to like name names.
No, I know what you mean. I think I try to make it a collaborative process no matter what game I'm on.
Okay.
And for the most part, I think I don't think I've ever run into one where I felt like that was an issue. There's some where I have more freedom. Like I did 2 Deus Ex games. So the second one, there was kind of a new team, but I was the guy who knew Adam Jensen because I had already done the game. So they would actually ask me, do you think he would say this? Do you think he would do that? And I was able to be very open and honest with them for a collaborative process. But it depends. But I've never bumped into anybody who's like, no, my way or the highway in video games. I have in film and TV, but not in video games.
So are there any video game studios or video game, just like a video game in general, you would like to work on or work with? Anyone that's kind of had your eyes on?
I mean, I've worked with a bunch, and I'm actually working with a big one now that I can't say. There's a lot of NDAs in this business.
I would imagine so.
That'll come out in like 2 years. Seriously, it's going to take us 2 years to make this game. Come back to me in 2021. But there's some of that. You know what I really love? Naughty Dog. I've yet to work with Naughty Dog, and I really want to.
Okay.
But I've not ever had a chance yet. So Naughty Dog, I think, is probably number one on that list. Especially now that I'm working with. Oh wait, I'm not allowed to say it. Never mind. Wow, I almost got caught there. Very dangerous, but I'm good. Yeah.
For games like Bethesda, where it's like a lot of like audio,
Yeah.
like what's specifically like the Fallout or Skyrim, where it's like your character will have like a million different things to say.
Yeah.
Do you kind of see that as like a challenge a little bit? You're like, all right, let's get in the studio, let's do this.
I mean, there's two ways you see it. You see it as an actor going, oh, good, I'm going to get a lot of work, which means a lot of days, which means a lot of money. Or not a lot of money, but like a good amount of money.
Yeah.
So good job. And then you look at it as, oh, I do have 15,000 lines to record. But you just look at it as work. Like, you're not recording 15,000 lines in a week. You're doing it over 2 years.
Okay.
So it's not really, you'll have hard days and you'll have easier days. But it's just the job. That's the job.
I know you said you're working on a game right now, and it's going to take about 2 years before you can even say anything.
Like, that game has like 20,000 lines.
Dang, that's insane right there.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take you to make a AAA game?
Again, it depends. Like Deus Ex took us 2 years. Assassin's Creed took about a year, but they already kind of built the mechanics of that game. So if you're asking me from a performance standpoint, it's probably anywhere from a year to 2 years, depending on how much work is involved in the game.
Now, being a voice actor, I know like you have to go to the studio and you have to do everything. But are you allowed to work on more than one game at a time?
Yeah, they sometimes. Today, I had lunch with the guys of this game that I'm doing, and they asked me like, "Do you have any other leads in any other games coming?" Not that they would have fired me, but they're like, we just want to know if we're gonna like be competing with another studio that has your voice or your performance capture or whatever, and so. That might actually lose you a job if you had a lead in another game and that studio didn't want to compete. But like I'm on Fortnite, they're not going to care that I do Fortnite for 2 years. It's just really like being the lead of a game.
Okay. So would you say that let's say if you're a lead for game A and then you also get a lead for game B, that could be a huge conflict of interest?
I don't know if it'll be a conflict of interest. Maybe if the let's say tomorrow I booked another lead and this game that I'm working on is coming out in 2021. If that game that I booked tomorrow is coming out in 2022, it's fine.
Okay.
If that game is coming out spring 2021, might be an issue.
So it's all a matter of when the game's going to be released?
Maybe. It depends on how they feel. Okay. I would probably be like, I don't know if I should do that one. Or maybe we should delay that release. Like, true story, Far Cry Primal and Deus Ex Mankind Divided were going to come out on the same day. And I was the lead in both those games. And then Deus Ex delayed. And they didn't delay because of me solely. They had other things they wanted to do, but it must have been a factor. They're like, look, we don't want to release it at the same time anyway. Okay. So they pushed the delay date, the release date. So probably they weren't happy with that, but I wasn't going to turn down another job because that's how we literally pay our bills.
And that was something I mean to ask. The question I'm going to ask right now, I know it has a lot of variables in it, but I know being an actor, well, obviously I don't know personally, but like I have an idea. Being an actor is like you get this gig and you got a job for let's say a year and a half. How long would you usually go without working, or is it all one?
If we're talking about one game, I can tell you this game I'm doing now, we're going to work. I think we're doing a week in July, and then we're probably going to take a break while they get their stuff together, and then we're going to do like 3 weeks in September. Then they'll take a break as they get their stuff together, and then 3 weeks in December, things like that. Because they do it in spurts most of the time. We did the same thing with Deus Ex. I would do like a week and a half, and then they would just not talk to me for like a month, and then they'd say, we need you for another week.
So you're almost on call in a sense.
Yeah, but they're pretty flexible. Like I say, look, I'm busy that week, or we change it to the next week. Unless it's like a month or something, they're usually pretty flexible with that kind of stuff because they know actors have to work.
And are there any other voice acting that you've done that's outside of video games?
Yeah, I got an animated series coming out on Netflix.
Congratulations.
Called Gods and Heroes. It's coming out, don't know when. We finished it in February, and I'm assuming they're going to take at least a year to animate it. It's really cool. It's by the same animation studio that did Castlevania on Netflix.
Oh, nice.
It's really,
You know,
really
if it's
cool.
gonna tie in like Castlevania.
No, it's Gods and Heroes. It's a Greek mythology thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm one of the lead, one of the leads on that.
So have you done any other like animations or anything like that?
I mean, I've done animations here and there, like a lot of dubbing and stuff like that, but nothing really popular except for that Gods and Heroes thing.
Would you like to venture into like an anime or a cartoon?
I would love to do an anime, but they don't pay very well.
Really?
The English dubs for animes don't pay very well.
Okay.
Unless it's like a massive, like you're dubbing the new Akira or something like that. But if you're dubbing a Dragon Ball Z episode, you're not getting a lot of cash for that.
Well, that's interesting because from the outside looking in, you would think like an anime as popular as Dragon Ball,
I think they'd be able to pay you. But a lot of them, I don't know specifically for Dragon Ball, to be honest with you, but a lot of anime, they come in and they go, well, we've already done all the work. We just need the English dub. And we're going to pay you X amount of dollars, but it's not what I get paid for normal voice work.
Okay, so if you were to venture out and do like an anime or a cartoon or something, well, I think a cartoon would probably be different.
Yeah.
But like an anime, it would be more of like a hobby, or like.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing, so as an actor's point of view, there's a little actor secret. A good thing about doing an anime is you may not get paid well on the day, but you can go and live off of the conventions for a long time if it's a popular anime.
Okay.
You'd be like, look, imagine I was voicing Goku. Could you imagine how many conventions I would go to and get paid to go to those conventions and things like that? I may not have gotten paid very well on the day, but I will get paid to go to these cons for years.
Okay.
So you kind of look at it that way.
Now, for being a voice actor in a video game, I'm sorry, I don't mean to like offend what I'm about to say, but like you don't really, a lot of people don't really know them unless you're kind of like following said actor.
Yeah.
So does that when you get spotted in a crowd, you're like, oh, you're this guy, you're this person. Like, how does that feel to know that somebody?
I mean, look, to be honest, I do a lot of TV, so I get spotted for TV stuff a lot. But I also get occasionally, especially here, because I have a name tag on, somebody will walk by me and just give a glance and go, oh my God, you're Adam Jensen or you're Leonidas or something. I get that. Once people know who I am, they're happy to see me, and I love it. I can't say shit. Every time some story pops in my mind, I'm like, I can't talk about that.
Don't worry about it. I don't want to get you in trouble, so don't ask anything you need to say. I think probably that concludes everything I want to say. Thank you. You've been very fun to talk to.
Thanks, Luis. All good, man. Thanks, Luis. All good, man. Thanks, Luis. All good.